So, hi, I'm Senor Noodle. You want to play Frisbee?
Hey boys and girls, this is Pastor Andy with some of our friends bringing you another rocking chair moment. Today we rejoin Esther and we will discover how God would use her to save His people. Esther is one of the heroes of our story, and she willingly risked her very own life when she learns what's at stake. Now, what's at stake? Well, there's a villain in our story as well, and his name is Haman, and he is second in command of the Persian Empire, and he wants to hurt Mordecai. Remember, Mordecai is Esther's uncle that took care of her because she was an orphan? Well, Mordecai did not bow down and respect Haman like the others did, and so because of the pride of Haman and his arrogance, he set out with a plan to kill Mordecai. Now, what they didn't know was that Mordecai was a Jew, and when Haman learned this, he not only wanted to kill Mordecai, but all of his people. But what he nor the king knew was that Queen Esther was also a Jew. Wow. Well, before I tell you the whole story and give everything away, Mrs. Dewan's with us today, and she wants to share how God used an orphan girl to save His chosen people. You see, it's a beautiful story of heroes and villains, and I can't wait for you to see it. I would also encourage you to read Esther. 10 chapters, it won't take too long, but we can't cover everything, and we want you not to miss the whole story. So until we see you again, here's Mrs. Dewan.
You ready? You ready? Okay, I do it. Look at the tree. Look for the Frisbee. Oh. Oh. Uh-oh.
Hi, Mrs. Dewan. Is Mr. Senor Noodle okay?
Oh dear. Yeah, it looks like he is. It looks like he is. He looks okay.
That's good. I'm not used to seeing people up here in the tree.
I'm looking for a Frisbee. Have you seen?
Oh, I thought it was a big leaf.
Oh, don't try to eat that.
It's right here, Miss Dewan. I'm looking right at it.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. So I haven't seen you in a long time. How are you doing?
Well, I'm not doing too good, Miss Dewan.
Why? What happened?
Well, I got a bad situation happened. This lion, well, to be honest, this lion tried to attack me.
No.
It was a mean lion. Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous to come out from the tree now.
How about this? You got time for a lesson?
Oh, that would be wonderful, Miss Dewan.
And I think our friends are here because we were playing Frisbee. I was playing with that Senor Noodle, so I think that we have time for a lesson. Do you have time for a lesson?
Yes, Miss Dewan, I've got plenty of time. I'm just going to sit up here in the trees.
And that way we learn about God's providence when somebody tries to hurt us. How about that?
Oh, I really need to hear that today.
So, last week I was learning about Esther.
I love Esther. I heard she became a queen.
She did become a queen. Hold on. I have to get my Bible.
All right, I'll hang out right here.
And the book of Esther tells us a story about Queen Esther. That's surprising, right?
That worked out real good to name the book after the queen.
Yeah, it does. Did you see our video from last week on the importance of Queen Esther and how she became the queen?
Yes, I gathered all the zebras together. I gathered all the chimpanzees together. They try to cut up, but we all watched it together.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so that's what we were talking about is Queen Esther. And it's very important to know what it is that she did.
What did she do, Miss Dewan?
Okay, so Esther, after she became the queen, she decided to help her people. And she did it in a very, very important way. Yes, so there was a bad guy that Pastor Andy had already talked about.
I don't like bad guys.
Yeah, he's the king's helper.
Those villains.
Now Haman didn't like Esther's uncle.
No.
He didn't. No, he just didn't want Mordecai around anymore.
He wanted to hurt Mordecai like that lion wanted to hurt me.
Well, he wanted to take it one step further. He wanted to take out he wanted to hurt all of the people that were associated with Mordecai, which was the Jewish people.
So just not one giraffe, but all the giraffes.
Imagine that.
Wow!
Imagine that. So Mordecai got so sad when he heard this because that was the king's helper. And it was almost as if the king had made the same decision to actually hurt all of the Jewish people. Which actually, it wasn't as if, it became law.
Man, that's important.
It is important. So imagine if the king, which is, he's the king of the jungle, no more giraffes.
Oh, I really don't like that law.
Would you get sad?
I will be very, very sad.
But would you try to stop being a giraffe?
No, I'm always going to be a giraffe.
That's right. So that's what they did too. They said, so Mordecai and his people got very, very sad. Now, guess what they used to do?
What did they used to do?
They used to get very sad and really show it publicly.
Oh, so everybody knew they were sad.
For Mordecai, that he had to go see his adopted daughter, but also his niece. Esther, Queen Esther.
Right.
So he had a meeting with her and he said, I hope you know the new law that happened. And she hadn't heard of the law.
She had.
She had not heard of the law. So when she heard of the law, Mordecai said, remember that you're part of our people. And just because you're queen, that doesn't mean that you're going to get away with not having any effects of this law.
So it impacted her life too, huh?
It did impact her life, so she was very sad that this was happening to her people. So what did they do? They all got sad. But then they also did one important thing.
What was that, Miss Dwan?
They prayed.
They
prayed to God, and then they fasted. Do you know what a fast is?
I run real fast. Is that what you're talking about, a fast?
Not quite. So a fast means to not eat for a given period of time for the purpose of getting a little bit of getting God's attention, but showing God devotion.
It would be like me going without eating leaves for a time and focusing on God, huh?
That's right. Now, we wouldn't suggest it to our friends to do it at their age because
they need to eat all their leaves.
Yes, they need to eat all their leaves, and they're still growing.
Right.
But all of these people were adults, and they were able to complete a fast. At this point, this is what they tried to do as their first remedy. They didn't try to run away. What they did instead was they said, we have a God, and our God is powerful, so we're going to turn to our God. So they prayed, and they fasted, and it's automatically assumed that it was God that was in the background working because they turned to God.
So God was working behind the scenes, huh?
He was working behind the scenes. After this prayer time, Esther goes before the king.
She must have been pretty brave and courageous.
She was. She was very brave and courageous because if something bad was going to happen, she was trying to prevent something bad to her people. So she wanted to be the superhero.
She took a risk, huh?
She took a risk. She wanted to be the superhero.
Did she fly? Did Queen Esther fly?
Probably not. Probably not.
Okay. So she was a regular hero, huh? Just a simple follower of God, I guess.
Yes, exactly. A simple follower of God. That's perfect, grilled cheese.
I'm learning.
I see that these lessons have been helping you.
Thank you.
That's good. So as she goes before the king sees, oh, my beautiful wife and queen is coming in. So he raised the scepter to her, and he allowed her to come in. And what's interesting is that God gave her favor before the king.
Very good.
So that's how she was able to come in before the king and say, I want to have a meeting with you. Oh, by the way, and can you bring Haman?
The mean guy, right? The
Yes,
villain.
The villain. So they had their first dinner. And then she said, and then the king said, is there anything that I can give you? And the queen said, yes, can I have another dinner?
She wanted 2 meals.
She wanted 2 meals.
She was done fasting.
She was done fasting, and that way she made sure that she had the king's full attention.
Very good. Very good.
You have to feed the king first, and then you can talk.
Gotcha.
And so she finally gets to the second dinner, and Haman is thinking, "Oh, I'm the only person that got invited to be with the king and the queen. I must be very special."
Yeah, he thought he was special.
He thought he was special.
But he was a villain.
But he was a villain, that's right. And God knew.
Yes, he
and
did.
so did Esther. So Esther, on the second dinner, told the king Haman wanted to hurt her and her people. So guess what the king did?
What did the king do?
He got mad. At first he walked out and he said, "It can't be." So he walked back inside and he found Haman asking for begging her basically, but he wasn't begging in a good way, and that made the king even more angry.
I bet.
So God providentially had Haman removed.
He knows all things, huh?
He knows all things. So the superhero won.
I love those stories.
You love those stories. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So, are you still scared?
No, because I know God is walking with me like he did Esther.
He is. Yes, he is. Now, you don't always have to fast in order for you to get God's attention or to get the same effect that Esther did.
That's a very good point. I love that point.
But it is important to pray.
Well, we should all pray.
And it's always important to trust God in what he's doing.
That's good.
Yes.
Good advice.
Welcome back, boys and girls. Man, I hope you've enjoyed the story of Esther. This is a true story. It really happened long, long ago. It's not a fairy tale. It's not something someone made up and wrote about. But this Esther was an orphan girl who became a queen, and God would use to save his chosen people. Now you need to read all about it in Esther, 10 chapters, and there's a lot of names that maybe are hard to pronounce, but there's so much in each verse. And we don't have always the time we want to share that completely, but we tried to get you interested in the story of Esther. Because why? Because the book of Esther shows the choice we make between seeing the hand of God at work in our life and circumstances, or just living our lives by mere coincidence. And we don't believe in coincidence. Sometimes we speak encouragement in other people's lives by saying good luck and things like that. And I understand we don't mean anything other than to encourage them, but luck? No. God's sovereign hand is at work, and there's nothing that happens just by chance or coincidence. But we believe in providence, and that encourages us to live each day with purpose, knowing that God has planned each day for us to do things that will be pleasing to Him and bring Him glory and honor. That would not only benefit ourselves, but others as well. Remember, disappointments, they come, but sometimes those disappointments are His appointments, so we better be ready. God's protection is not based off our performance, boys and girls, but it's based off His providence. What encouragement we have as we look at the life of Esther and we apply those truths to our lives. Now I want to leave you with one verse of Scripture that reminds us a little bit more about God's sovereignty and His love for us. Psalm 37 verse 23 tells us that the steps of the godly are directed by the Lord, and He delights in their lives. Meaning, as we walk with the Lord and serve Him and follow Him, those steps are directed by God. When we desire to please Him and we take those steps, man, He is so happy with us. He delights in each moment. Wow. I hope you had a good day today, and know that this day is not by accident or coincidence or by luck, but God's sovereign providence puts purpose into our lives each and every day. So God bless you, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye now.